Okay, hello everyone and welcome to our recording focusing on familial hypercholesterolemia, young and living with FH. How do we manage it? For several years, FH Europe Foundation has been advocating for early screening for familial hypercholesterolemia so that fewer people are affected with cardiovascular disease as a consequence of FH and can enjoy cardiovascular health instead. Paediatric screening and early detection provide us with the opportunity to change the narrative about cardiovascular disease and FH. So instead of becoming a CVD patient, we all become a person managing FH. Early detection and personalised treatment will help to prevent the preventable from early years. This is why we need to ensure that young people and their parents have relevant information to make this happen. We need to revisit how we think and how we talk about FH in the context of children and younger generations. Young people really want to live a normal life. And to do this, they don't want to think about themselves as being a patient. The highly endorsed 2022 Prague Declaration for FH paediatric screening is a call to action for national and European Union policymakers and decision makers. It addresses the outstanding barriers to the systematic implementation of FH paediatric screening across Europe and the concrete actions needed to move forward. This recording is a great opportunity for our two patient ambassadors to share their experiences, both of living with FH and being a carer of two children with heterozygous familial hypercholesterolemia, which is the common form of familial hypercholesterolemia. As a young person, questions such as how do you deal with your diagnosis and management and the progression of childhood into adulthood? As a parent, how do you best support your children? How do you incorporate dietary needs? As young people, how can we support with relationship building and family planning for the future? I would now like to introduce two incredible women, both from Austria, which is completely appropriate as we have our annual network meeting in Vienna later this year. Lena Rosa, and who lives with a heterozygous familial hypercholesterolemia, and also Sabina, who is the mother of the two children with HeFH. And finally, I'd like to introduce Professor Albert Wiegman, who is an incredible paediatrician who knows absolutely everything about FH of both types. And now I'd like to pass over to Lena Rosa to start the interview.
Yes, so hi, I'm Lena Rosa, and I'm not only interviewing this webinar today, I'm also an FH patient as well. And my whole journey with FH has started early back when I was 2 years old and got diagnosed. So basically, I lived with FH my whole life, and I don't know it any other way. And I went through all the up and downs that it took, like puberty, everything. So yeah, managing this condition is not hard if you know how to manage it. So we will have 3 webinars for you in general before even the FH annual meeting, which we will record, and they all will have different topics about FH in general to understand it for everybody who is new. Please, Dr. Albert Wiegman, can you give us an overview what FH is in simple words?
Familial will mean it's running in the family. Hyper is high, cholesterol is fat, and emia is in the blood. So there is high fat in the blood running in the family. And it's not restricted to just one person. Most of the time, one parent or one grandparent, and if there are children, sometimes one or more children will have this disorder. It's not a disease. We want to prevent that from becoming a disease. If you don't do a thing later in life, you will have a high risk of heart attacks. That's the greatest danger for this disorder. And if you are there on a young age, you can prevent that nowadays excellently.
Yes, exactly. So an early diagnosis is so important. Like I got diagnosed and my parents, like they always try to educate myself about the whole disease. And for example, my dad, he had a heart attack when he was 30 years old, which is really young. And he wasn't educated about this, and he wasn't diagnosed at a really young age. So yes, we also have a FH patient, another one here today, and her 3 children, 2 of them also have FH, right? So please, can you share your story and how it is in your daily life, how they got diagnosed?
Yeah. Well, actually, I came up with the topic of high cholesterol when I met my husband back then, 20 years ago. And he was not even aware that he has FH. It was just like, okay, I have a high cholesterol. And later, when I got the kids, I just by chance found out that one of the girls had higher cholesterol. And this is where I started like to check and to look for what is the reason behind what happened. And this is how we came across here to the general hospital, and actually to the FH organization in Austria, which helped us a lot and gave us necessary context to find out more. And this is where we got then tested. Actually, the all 3 kids got tested, and my husband, and they found the gene. And this is actually where we got the diagnosis, or is, as you said, it's not really it is not let's say how do you say
disease, but a disorder.
Yeah,
exactly.
it's a disorder.
Yeah. We were said it is a disorder. You can do many things about it, like first of all taking care of the food, of the right way of kids being. Actually, it's not easy when you are a parent and kids like chocolate, they like to have sweets and fatty things, and all of a sudden you need to tell them, okay, you cannot have this, you cannot have that, you should reduce that. And it's, as a parent, it's not actually always easy to manage, but it's manageable. Then of course that the kids need to move more and to do even more sports, and actually we know that most of the kids nowadays don't do enough, and with kids with this disorder they even have to do more. So being also on that, and then to take their medicine every evening, because they, since now, meanwhile it's like 3 years that both of my so I have 3 girls, 16, 14 and 8 years old, and the older ones are both diagnosed, and they're taking the medicine. And they, at the beginning, was like unusual, and I had to really every day remind them, did you have your medicine, did you have it? Meanwhile they take it themselves, and they see it as a very normal. They don't even like
yes
have to do with it.
That's what I wanted to ask, how they cope with the whole medication, because they're coming into puberty now, or are in puberty already. And I remember my mom, she was like pushing me, because I was like, no, I had other things. I started a new school, and I was just focused on the new social groups. People started smoking, and I was like overwhelmed by this. And like, she educated myself, and I never started smoking, which is a good thing. But with the whole nutrition part, I was lacking a little bit, and also with sports, for example. And now, after puberty, like, I've changed into maturing, and now I take care of that. But I know that for a few different times you don't take care about that much, but your parents also have to really like help you with that as well. So
yeah, exactly. That is actually what is like on us as parents to be after, to take care. I mean, it's like, as you said, it's up and down. There are days where they want to have ice cream, so they do have an ice cream. It's not like it's always no, don't. But I do remind them, and as you say, there are teenagers, and there are moments where like, I don't care, like, just leave me alone. But I think main topic is that they started and they have this something in the background, this knowledge, and they know, for example, as you say, smoking is a no-go, and they know,
of course,
perfectly done. So I think it's like, it's different. They have a different starting point than let's say a teenager with usual, I don't know, say usual, but like not having this disorder. Say they do know they are putting something on a bed, which is not really it's their health, it's their life. So
yes. So do they have like good rituals, what you can do. For example, I always boil myself a tea at night. So I have the medication next to my teapot, and I know, okay, now I have to take that medication, and I don't forget it. And for example, Dr. Albert Wiegman's patient also told me last year at the FH meeting that they put the medication next to the toothbrush. So do they also have like good rituals, or?
So the ritual is the mom is first one yelling, "Did you take the medicine?" And if not, actually, my husband takes the medicine at the same time, so he reminds them. And we bought them at the beginning some funny, let's say, colored boxes for this, so they already know. It's like now I even don't remember them, and they do take it every evening. There is no issue. And when they travel, they also think of, okay, I need to take my medicine with me. So yeah, we don't have really a ritual, but the ritual so that the medicine is always in the same place. It's more or less at the same time before they go to bed. They just take it.
Yes. So what advice would you give to other children in that age, or other young patients who have that disease? How to treat it or how to manage it?
First of all, I would give an advice to all the parents to test their kids, especially if they have a family who had an issue. Because, for example, from my side, I knew that my husband's grandfather, they had issues when they were younger, but no one was educated, and no one told them, okay, it could be FH. And even the doctor to which we went, at no point it was like, oh, did you test yourself? Or no, nothing. So the first thing I would do is I would say just test your kids. It's not even so difficult. It doesn't. I mean, okay, just the pigs, it doesn't hurt that much. I mean, I think that a lot of people are scared of blood taking and stuff, but nowadays it's even easy to actually do the small.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like actually really easy if you know. You just have to know how to do the screenings, and that's why importance of like awareness and all this matters of FH. So Dr. Albert Wiegman, can you tell us why awareness actually matters on a clinician's perspective?
You don't feel the high cholesterol till it's late, or perhaps too late. So it's needed to become aware that it can happen, especially if in the family there are more people having heart attacks at a young age, and young is in men below 55 and women below 60. That's weird. And if there is one person, the family thinks this is weird. When there is a second, they think, oh, this can be familial. And then it's wise to check everybody who is in the family, their cholesterol. And we nowadays in the Netherlands, I do have 4,000 children with it, check in the genes and see where the mutation is. Important is that we discussed together with the Minister of Health, with all the insurance companies, that those who know that they have FH can live a healthy life and live longer and healthy. So they should not be penalized for it. Some countries forgot to talk to the insurance companies, and then families becomes reluctant to test. And then you don't know that you have this disorder. And if you know it at a young age, you can do a lot. I tell all the children when they come to my outpatient ward that they will become 100 if they stick to the 5 rules. Eat healthy, exercise, don't smoke, take your medication, and look to the left and the right when you cross the road. And for the healthy food, the 4,000 children in my outpatient ward are the only ones who are not on a diet. In the Netherlands, the children are on a diet, far too much food, far too much fat. They are the only 4,000 who are not on that diet. They just eat healthy. And eating healthy is not only vegetables and fruit. It's sometimes also eating things that are not that healthy, but not that often.
Yeah,
but
it's
most
also
important is that they don't start to smoke. So we want to see them before there is a chance that they will become addicted to it.
Yes.
Lena.
Yes.
And about, can I tell about why they put the tablets beside their toothbrush? I tell the children when they start at the age of 8 or something, that they invented a drug 100 years ago, and if you put it on your teeth, you will have teeth at the age of 70, and the drug is called toothpaste. And they think, okay, I know that drug, and there is now a toothpaste for the inside of your vessels. If you take the tablet, it brushes your vessels clean, and you will have clean vessels at the age of 70. And they put the tablets beside their toothbrushers, and they every evening brush their teeth and brush their vessels. And so the vessels stays clean.
Yeah, that's really good. I think that's the best thing you can do. So I will maybe also try to do that from now on.
No, you have your own ritual with a tea,
I have
teapot. Please
Yes.
keep drinking tea. But
I
I agree. It's that you have to make rules. The mother, Sabina, is now telling the children and bringing the boxes, but in the future, they have to find a way to do it on their own. That's the whole idea about it.
Yes, and I think it's also the balance you have as well. Of course, you need to take your medication, but for example, you cannot always eat completely healthy, but at least you should do most of the time. But I also sometimes, if I want to eat something, I eat a dark chocolate or something. For that works for me, and I can do that. So why is it so important for
And if you eat a cake, please enjoy, but don't continue to eat cakes. But moment you eat the unhealthy thing, enjoy of it, because otherwise you have eaten something unhealthy and have a guilt feeling. That's no good.
Yes. So my dad has HeFH, but he's also a cake maker. He's a pastrycian. So it was not always the easiest thing for me in my childhood, because my parents, of course, they were like, for a birthday, you can eat a cake. But when I came into the pastry shop, I could never eat it. And so it was difficult. But on my birthday, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yes. So
that's good.
Yes. So why is it so important for young people to be aware of HeFH? Because they need to connect with other people as well, I think, and they need to exchange with people who have the same. And yeah. So, Albert, how can young patients advocate for themselves in medical settings as well?
They can advocate the fact that they know it, and it doesn't, but I'm interested in your opinion, it doesn't hurt them because they know it's treatable. In the past, you should not know a disorder if you don't have the ability to treat. And now it's rather easy to manage. As you say, not that difficult to adhere the healthy food, not so difficult to adhere to the tablets that you take. And there is one very, very important thing, that you should not start smoking or vaping. And you can discuss this with others, but I don't know if they all understand what it is. Many young children discuss it in their classrooms. They have a sort of thesis. I don't know the right word for it. And tell what it is. It's not infrequent. 1 in 300 have heterozygous HeFH. So per minute worldwide, 1 child with HeFH is born. In our tiny country, the Netherlands, per day, 2 children with heterozygous HeFH are born. I think in Austria, 1 child per day is born with HeFH. So it's not rare. And
it's not rare. Yeah.
Rare. It's not rare. And you hope that everybody can benefit from detection and treatment.
Yes, and especially also, for example, I went to my childhood doctor and he sent me to the hospital. So my childhood doctor back then, he knew of it and he immediately sent me to the hospital. But I think that sometimes also doctors don't really know, like others don't really know, and then it's not helpful because how will they find out on their own as well? So that's also what I put in question.
There's a responsibility for us to bring it to all the GPs and pediatricians, but luckily there are also parents like Sabina who thinks I have to know for my children. So if the doctor is, how did it work for you? Was your doctor against it, Sabina, or was?
Actually, the first time when we told it to the pediatrician, she said like, oh, so, well, I have elevated cholesterol levels and I don't take anything. Why would you? Like, I don't even have to take the kids. So she didn't. And then later she changed and she said, like, I'm not the expert in it, so maybe you should go somewhere else. And this is how we then it developed. I started looking for someone who is really in charge of that. And via HeFH, I came to the experts on this. So I do believe that actually even on the side of the doctors, there could be more done for the. I mean, I know people who do have higher cholesterol and not even for the kids, for the older ones who don't do anything about it. So it's not like no one is like pushing. I think it's too little being. The awareness is very low that you can start early, and as early you start it, it's better it develops. Then it's always this. Like, okay, the pharma industry, blah, blah, thing that people do believe in some conspiracy theories and stuff. And of course, there on one side, it's education. The other side is also like knowing, for example, it's like if I try in my family and a bigger friends circle to spread the word, just to say, come on, people, now it's being offered. I even sent in the class group of my youngest daughter who just started going to the primary school that there was now some kind of testing done on the level of the really primary school, so every child could get tested. And just why wouldn't you do it? It's free of charge. It's just like it's knowing. And I think this needs more propaganda. It needs more awareness. It needs like people like us, like the patients, like the parents, like also doctors, just talk about more. And it's nothing like it is. As you said, it's a disorder. It's not an illness. They are not like they can do anything in my kids are not limited to anything. They are taking part in all the travels which they do with the school. They're going to all the parties. They're eating all the cakes there. I'm not kidding. And they're because also taking actually this medicine gives me a little bit of peace that I know that actually they are in a sense also protected. That this, I mean, I can say that my youngest daughter had at the beginning already some of this on her. Now you will help me with the medical words in English on her.
She not operate. It says she had like
ultrasound of the carotid arteries.
Had the intermediate carotid. It was already changed, and now after 3 years taking the medicine, it went back. It is actually improving. So, and this is what I think it's needed that people say that this actually helps. And I just before we did this interview, I just checked up on their numbers, and I could say before they started, they had like the younger one had a cholesterol of 283 and an LDL of 206. And after taking the medicine, now she is at the level of 81 with the LDL. And it's actually, it started with just a little small, I mean, also to say that the pill is this small, it's a really tiny.
Yeah.
Like, okay, it was at the beginning a 10-year-old, how can she swallow that? And it was like, I can't swallow the tablet. It's like, okay, let's see. And then I actually bought different medicine, because there are different manufacturers. And we found the smallest one, and we started there. And now 2 years later, we are even lucky that we can reduce the doses because they're doing so well. So I think that we as parents and as grown-ups can do a lot for our children in many other diseases, and also in this one, and just making their lives, let's say, healthier, and so they can turn 100, as you said, Fred.
Yeah.
At least.
May I add to this? That it's so important that, for instance, FH Europe Foundation creates these webinars to increase the awareness. In the Netherlands, everybody, Europe applauds for the Netherlands that we have found 70% of those affected. And I think 30% is unaware of it. In the whole of Europe, less than 10% knows the disease, this disorder. We did cascade screening now in Slovenia, Croatia, Ireland, Cyprus. There is universal screening. Hopefully in the next year in Germany, hopefully in Austria as well. And FH Europe Foundation, but also ministers of health should create the awareness. And so via perhaps universal screening, and those with the highest risk then know it, and you can easily, with this tiny pill, lower it to normal levels. Normal is between 65 and 130 milligrams per deciliter, or in millimole between 1.7 and 3.3 millimole per liter. Lena Rosa.
Yes. Yeah, so like for me, especially as a 24-year-old woman,
young woman.
Young woman. I take medication my whole life. I take statins now, and I can really see a decrease in my LDL levels as well. And I can say I live a normal life. I study, I take this small pill every night, but still I can live it normally. And also for me, what is important to spread that awareness, especially over social media, as it's really like popular in like nowadays, and especially under my same age people, and we need to really like push that and spread the awareness, and that screenings are so important in a young age, and you can really do that over social media as well. So yeah, I like a long-term outlook. I want to know now from everybody, what can we do in a long term in the future as well, and what support.
Yeah, and to also to add to Sabina about the ultrasounds of the carotid arteries, we do it routinely every other year. I even let the child do it on brothers and sisters to see how it works. And you see the thickening, if it's there and you give the drug, it disappears. So if there is fat in the wall, it can come out if you are young. If you wait till later in life, it becomes calcified. So there's an extra need to find everybody at an early age. And if they see themselves that the vessels are really open, that helps also that it's not only words, but you can see it. Exactly. So that's, and it's easy to do. There is no radiation. With the ultrasound, it's just sounds instead of radiation. So it's safe and it's helpful.
Yeah. I would actually I wanted to add something. It looks like everything is like so easy, but I have to say that at the beginning I had my doubts, and I needed the time. I needed almost 2 years time to decide to give the medicine to the girls, because first of all, you think, oh my God, this is for their whole life. They have to take the medicine. Then, of course, because they are ladies, they will need to, you also have to stop it in case when they want to have a baby. So you need really first to educate. But I felt at some situations I did feel a little bit alone, because there are not so many experts, and if you start going in the internet and read, and there is so much like also against words like, okay, cholesterol is good, why would you lower it, and stuff like that, from the people who are actually not the experts. And it's not easy. So I also think that the awareness is not only, it's also about the education. It's really also just
Of course.
simple, very simple, but also for people to understand this is not like, okay, and also to taking the fears, because for me as a mother, I had some fears. I also sometimes, even now, I have the doubt, is that the right thing to do? Because of course you hear that on the other side, this might cause this or this might cause that, and there are also some negative media. It's not always everything perfect, so it's not really easy to say, okay, yeah, just go for it and take the medicine, that's it. So I do think also that on that point we will need more expert and more support, especially the parents, because I mean the child is not taking anything until the parent decides.
Mm-hmm.
The HDL cholesterol is the good cholesterol. So HDL should be high, but LDL can be as low as possible, because it's garbage or even it's toxic. But the HDL is the good cholesterol. You need cholesterol, but in the right form. Otherwise, it sticks to the vessel wall. And for that reason, and if a parent or a child is not willing to start, oh, no problem. Then we repeat the measurement in a year or in half a year. And if it goes down, let's wait. But if it goes up, why wait till it's become that high that you can't do it with just a tablet? Then you need injections or whatever. And people who say cholesterol doesn't matter, if you have homozygous FH, your cholesterol is sky high and you can have your heart attack before the age of 10. So high cholesterol is really dangerous. Luckily, in heterozygous FH, it's not that sky high. But as Lena Rosa started, it can give heart attack at the age of 30.
Yes.
So, but better not wait for many years. But if needed, 1 year or 2 years waiting, no problem.
Yes. For example, I take the statins now, but maybe if my levels go up again, I would definitely take, for example, a PCSK9 inhibitor or something, because my dad already takes it and he has even better levels than me now. And look,
great.
what way he came. He had his heart attack and now he's taking the PCSK9 inhibitor and he lives a normal life. So I think you should not wait. You should just take it if it's perfect and the right time to take it, because then they get lower. So
Absolutely.
yes. And also what Sabina said earlier with the with women who want to get pregnant, it will also change a little bit, like, and you have to, like, you cannot take the statins anymore. And there's also questions like how do we manage then? But that's, for me especially, a question for the future, because I don't want to have kids, but it's still like put out there, how do we manage that? And also, yeah, it's really interesting.
If you have clean vessels before you start pregnancy, there's no need to take drugs during pregnancy.
Yeah.
But if you have not clean vessels and then you have no drug available during 9 months, then it becomes perhaps a bit tricky. So it's better to start early, and we don't give below the age of 6 years the drug to heterozygous FH. So the children in the belly are younger than 6 years. So we don't give it to them. But some who were pregnant continued accidentally with statins, and normal babies were born. So probably it's no risk, but better not give it during pregnancy because it hasn't been tested. And we have tested it from the age of 6. And we know for certain that it works and that it is safe. But so for that reason, normally, if you have taken your drugs before, you stop for a period during pregnancy and breastfeeding, and then reintroduce your medication. And perhaps a small amount of fat is then in the vessel wall and it disappears within months.
Yeah, yeah. So we just have to lower the levels, and then it's easier for us to be pregnant, I would say.
Absolutely.
So yes.
Many of my children now have become mothers, and even one is already grandmother who was once a child at my outpatient ward,
Oh.
and they are all doing really, really well.
Yes, and what I also know that in women, like especially with hormones, it can also change. Like that's what I heard, the levels as well, right? Or
Yeah, hormones protect you from heart attacks, so the
yeah.
hormones are good.
Yeah. So managing FH, like what long-term outlook can be there now? Like what it will be, what will be in the future? What can you say?
The future is bright. If everybody who has the disorder is detected and treated early. You are an exception, Lena Rosa, treated from the age of 2, that's wonderful. But being treated from the age of 12 or 14 will do as well. But don't wait till the first heart attack occurs. Then you have the damage.
Yes.
So it's at least important to start before the damage is there. But if, for instance, your father is a wonderful example. If there is damage, you can treat as well what comes new on it. Because on calcifications comes new fat. And if you remove that fat, it won't become calcified. So even for the parents who suffer from the disorder into a disease, they can be prevented from the next attack. And 20 years ago, many of the parents of the children at my outpatient ward died of it. So that was a massive experience for the children as well. So for that reason, it's important that the parents are treated well and the children. And not only by medication, also by their lifestyle. And that helps to give them the reins to do the best.
Yes. So to conclude this, screenings are really important in a young age, and hopefully there is so much more to look out for with new screenings opportunities in more countries as well. And awareness is a key point, not only through social media, but also through more propaganda, like talk with your families, talk with friends. You can screen easier, and educate yourself about everything.
Yes.
Like I'm studying biology, but I have educated myself way earlier, also through my mother and through my parents who have educated me. But I think it's really important for everybody who has FH to really know what's going on. And yeah, it's not a difficult disease to manage, as I said in the beginning, if you know how to treat it. So to Dr. Albert Wiegman, what are your final thoughts now at the end?
It's fantastic to see how it not affects you, but how it helps you to cope with. And Sabina and you, Lena Rosa, actually showed how to manage, and that's promising. In the meantime, we have as FH Europe Foundation make it help the countries that are trying to explore where the problem is. And if it's done by cascade screening, as it's done in the Netherlands and in Norway, or by universal screening, and in the meantime, new drugs will develop and will help to cure the problems of the high cholesterol.
Yes, and Sabina, from you also, last few sentence, what you want to conclude here, your final thoughts on this?
Yeah, well, I just hope that more parents after this, or whoever hears this, will take his daughter, son, and go to test first of all, because that's the starting point, and just not to ignore it. And even also older persons who do have, like, I don't know, even in your age, or not kids anymore, but still young, because that's the beginning. I think that it's, as you said, it's something to manage. It's something you can live with good and long,
Mm.
and try to do that. I mean,
Mm.
it's just we do have too many problems in the world. We have too many stress. We have so many situations. I think this is like a
Yes.
little, as I said, for us, it's just this little small pill. And on the other side, living healthy, which is anyhow good even without this. So it makes you look good, it makes you feel you good. So why don't do it? And I hope just for more support from the states to
Yeah.
do more screenings, from the doctors, and also from just like the whole let's say community, a little bit supporting and spreading the word. Because I do think there, especially here in Austria, I could say I was really surprised to hear from Albert that it's actually 70%. You already know. I don't think in Austria it's even 10%. So
Yeah.
getting there, that would be the goal, I would say. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So I want to
And
thank you both.
do you have a
With
conclusion, Lena Rosa? What? How do
my
you? What?
my conclusion was already that I like both what you said is my conclusion, and also I said it before that screenings are really important, that like awareness, especially my age, to other people and over social media. And I hope there are more screening methods for especially also finding out your variant, and then if you know the variant, you know how to treat it, especially. So that's what I conclude here. And I want
You are
to
helping in that direction by doing the tests already, the LDL
exactly,
genetic testing. Fantastic.
exactly. Yes, I
Super.
want to help on a molecular basis, but also I want to spread awareness through public speaking and to give that information further to other people. So, yeah. So, I want to thank you both for participating in this webinar today. It was a good talk. And links of previous webinars about all things FH and the Prague Declaration are detailed in the summary section below this recording. Yes, so thank you.